Welcome to your Health Facts podcast. Today, we're going to explore some really powerful steps you can take to reduce your risk of developing cancer.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, actually. We always hear that 1 in 3 men and 1 in 4 women will develop cancer in their lifetime.
It's a scary statistic for sure.
It is, but the good news is cancer is not inevitable.
That's right.
Studies show that by making informed lifestyle choices, we can reduce our risk by up to 40%.
That's a huge impact. So where do we even begin?
One of the most important things you can do is to really focus on your diet.
Makes sense.
And specifically, you want to make sure you're eating plenty of chlorophyll-rich foods. We're talking about those dark, leafy greens like spinach, kale, collard greens.
Ah, yes, the power of green. But what makes chlorophyll so special when it comes to cancer prevention?
Well, think of chlorophyll as like the plant's immune system. It basically harnesses energy from the sun. And when we eat these greens, we're kind of borrowing that benefit.
That's a cool way to think about it. We're basically absorbing the sun's energy through these plants.
Exactly. And, there are studies that have shown that eating chlorophyll-rich foods can actually reduce liver cancer risk by a whopping 55%.
Wow, 55%. That's incredible. But how does it actually work?
Well, chlorophyll can actually bind to carcinogens, those nasty cancer-causing substances, in the body and prevent them from damaging our DNA.
Oh, wow. So it's like a shield protecting our cells.
Exactly. And this is especially important for the liver.
Right, because the liver is responsible for filtering out toxins from our blood.
Precisely. So by boosting its defenses with chlorophyll, we're giving it a fighting chance against those harmful substances.
So eating our greens is a simple yet powerful step towards cancer prevention.
Absolutely. Now, in addition to diet, sunlight also plays a crucial role.
Oh, that's interesting. I know we need sunlight for vitamin D, but how does it specifically help prevent cancer?
Well, getting sunlight early in the morning or later in the afternoon, ideally before 10 a.m. or after 4 p.m., is best.
Okay, so timing is key here.
It is. This kind of exposure actually stimulates the production of not just vitamin D, but also melatonin.
Ah, the sleep hormone.
Yes, but melatonin is also a powerful antioxidant, and studies have linked it to cancer protection as well.
Interesting. So we're talking about moderate, well-timed sun exposure here.
Exactly. Because excessive sun exposure, especially around midday, can actually be harmful.
Right. We all know about the dangers of sunburn.
And for good reason. Sunburns actually suppress our immune system.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it had that effect.
Yeah, and that makes us more vulnerable to all sorts of health issues, including skin cancer.
And I've heard that childhood sunburns are especially dangerous.
That's right. Getting sunburned as a child significantly increases the risk of developing melanoma as an adult.
That's really important for parents to know. We need to protect our kids' skin.
Absolutely. Sunburns are also the leading cause of premature skin aging, so there are plenty of reasons to be sun smart.
So we've covered diet and sunlight. Are there any other hidden dangers we should be aware of when it comes to cancer prevention?
Absolutely. There are, and one of them is aflatoxins.
Aflatoxins. I'm not familiar with those.
They're pretty nasty. Aflatoxins are actually potent carcinogens produced by certain types of mold.
Mold, like the kind that grows on bread.
Yeah, similar, but these molds tend to contaminate grains, nuts, and even the corn that's fed to animals.
Oh, wow. So it can end up in our food supply.
Exactly. And since these toxins can accumulate in animal products, it's really important to be cautious about consuming things like organ meats and dairy.
That's good to know. So how can we protect ourselves from aflatoxins?
Well, one simple step is to be really careful when you're buying nuts.
Oh, yeah. I sometimes see nuts that look discolored or shriveled.
Right. You want to discard any nuts that look moldy, discolored, or shriveled. And always try to buy from reputable brands that test their products for aflatoxin levels.
That's a great tip. I'll definitely be checking labels more carefully from now on.
Good. Now, another hidden danger to be mindful of is heavy metals and arsenic.
Wait, heavy metals and arsenic in our food? Really?
I know it sounds scary, but these toxins can actually find their way into various foods that we might not expect.
Like what?
Like chocolate, for instance, or even baby food.
Seriously, baby food? That's alarming.
It is, and the problem is that these toxins can build up in our bodies over time and increase the risk of various health problems, including cancer.
So what can we do to minimize our exposure?
Well, the best thing you can do is to really do your research and choose brands that have low heavy metal and arsenic content in their products.
So reading labels and being a conscious consumer is key.
Exactly. It might take a little extra effort, but it's definitely worth it for your health.
Absolutely. It's amazing how many hidden dangers lurk in our everyday food and environment.
It really is. But the good news is that by being informed and making conscious choices, we can significantly reduce our risk.
That's empowering. Knowledge is power when it comes to our health.
I couldn't agree more. Now, fermented foods have become really trendy lately.
Oh, yeah, everyone's talking about kimchi and kombucha and all that.
Right. But it's important to approach them with a bit of caution.
Oh, why is that?
Well, a lot of these fermented foods are actually pretty high in salt.
Ah, I see.
And they can also contain preservatives or even harmful bacteria.
Huh. So they're not all good for us.
Not necessarily. They can actually disrupt the balance of our gut microbiome if we're not careful.
So what's the best way to support our gut health then?
Well, instead of relying on fermented foods, I'd recommend focusing on eating a variety of fiber-rich foods.
Good old fiber.
Yep. These foods provide the perfect nourishment for our good gut bacteria, allowing them to thrive and ferment naturally.
So we're kind of creating our own internal fermented food factory.
Exactly. Now, another thing we really need to talk about is alcohol.
Oh boy, here comes the buzzkill.
I know, but it's important. You see, studies have shown that alcohol consumption significantly increases the risk of several types of cancer.
Like what?
Well, for starters, it doubles the risk of breast cancer.
Wow, doubles. That's huge.
It is, and it also fuels cancers of the mouth, stomach, intestine, and liver.
So basically it's bad news all around.
Pretty much. And you know what makes alcohol even worse? It depletes vital nutrients from our bodies,
Oh no, like what?
especially B vitamins, which are crucial for our metabolism, immune system, and even our brain health.
Yikes.
Ah.
So not only does it increase our cancer risk, but it also weakens our defenses.
That's right. Now let's talk about another controversial topic, red meat.
Ooh, this is always a hot button issue.
It is. But the World Health Organization actually classifies red meat as a carcinogen.
Really? Why is that?
Well, it's mainly due to its nitrates and heme iron content.
Okay. And those are bad because...
Well, nitrates can be converted into those nasty cancer-causing nitrosamines in our bodies.
Right, we talked about those earlier.
And heme iron, while it's essential for oxygen transport, can actually promote oxidative stress and inflammation when we consume too much of it.
I see. So moderation is key here.
Absolutely. It's interesting to note that chloroquine, the malaria drug, actually works by causing a buildup of heme in parasites.
Oh, wow. So it's basically toxic to them.
Exactly. And that just goes to show the potential toxicity of heme when it accumulates in the wrong places in our bodies.
That's a fascinating connection. So we got to be mindful of our red meat intake.
For sure. Now, along similar lines, we should also talk about processed meats and veggie patties.
Oh, yeah, those convenient little guys. But I have a feeling they're not so good for us.
You got it.
Yeah.
They're often loaded with preservatives like nitrates.
There they are again, those pesky nitrates.
And remember, nitrates convert into those cancer-causing nitrosamines in the body.
Right. We don't want those hanging around.
Nope. And high nitrate levels can also hinder oxygen delivery to our tissues.
Oh, no, that sounds bad.
It is. It can actually lead to a condition called methemoglobinemia.
Methemoglobinemia, that's a mouthful.
I know, right? But basically, this condition impairs the ability of our red blood cells to effectively carry oxygen throughout our bodies.
So it's kind of like suffocating ourselves from the inside out.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
So it's best to minimize our intake of these processed meats and veggie patties as much as possible.
Got it. Now, before we wrap up, I want to touch on one more important topic. Water.
Water. What about it?
Well, I've heard that even our tap water can contain harmful toxins that might increase our cancer risk.
You've heard right. It's true that tap water goes through treatment to remove certain contaminants.
So it should be safe, right?
Yeah, not always. You see, it often still contains a surprising amount of toxins.
Like what?
Well, things like nitrates from fertilizer runoff, for example.
Those nitrates again. They seem to be everywhere.
They really are. And when we ingest these nitrates, they can contribute to the formation of those cancer-causing nitrosamines in our bodies.
So even our water isn't safe. What can we do about that?
Well, the good news is there's a simple solution.
Yeah.
Invest in a quality water filter.
That makes sense. By filtering our water, we can significantly reduce our exposure to these and other potentially harmful substances.
Exactly. It's a small step that can make a big difference in the long run.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have. but it's all about empowering you to take control of your health.
Exactly. And these 10 steps are a fantastic starting point for anyone looking to reduce their cancer risk.
I think the key takeaway here is that while cancer is a serious concern, it's not something we have to simply accept as our fate.
Right? We can make informed choices and take proactive steps to protect ourselves.
Absolutely. And by making these changes, we're not just reducing our cancer risk, we're also improving our overall health and well-being.
That's a great point. It's about creating a healthy lifestyle that supports our body's natural defenses.
Exactly. So remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about the potential risks and the steps you can take to mitigate them, the better equipped you'll be to make healthy choices for yourself and your loved ones.
And for those who want to dive deeper into this topic and access more resources, be sure to visit yourhealthfacts.com and subscribe.
You'll find tons of valuable information there to help you on your journey to optimal health.
Thanks for joining us today. It's been an enlightening conversation.
It has. And remember, your health is an investment, not an expense. If